can see the positive sides to everything, you'll live a much richer life. Positive sides. Do you agree with this? Do you agree that we should look at things with rose-tinted glasses, no matter how dire the situation is? I think I believe we need to have equilibrium, we need to have a balanced view. That's point number one. We need to have equilibrium and a balanced view and look at things in a balanced way. That means look at things for what they are, and perception. Mind's perception, your perception, how you interpret things in your own head. Number two, can you change the way you interpret things in your own head? Can you change the way you frame things in your own head? How you take on situations? And you'll live a much richer life. I think if you can learn to change ideas, if you can learn to change the way you take note of what is it you're experiencing, can enhance your life and give you further options. I agree with that partly, because if you can learn to rewire your mind, you're going to be a lot better in handling potentially difficult situations. But looking at things in a balanced way is extremely important. For example, if a problem is occurring, we can't put rose-tinted glasses on and say it isn't. We need to say we need to solve it. There needs to be a problem solver in place, and not a ridiculing internal voice. Because most people, what do they do? I'm not saying everybody, but a ridiculing voice will only be destructive. But a problem-solving voice inside your head will be the change for a radical, positive, significant improvement. So if you can change your internal voice from the ridiculing voice to the problem-solving voice, you will indeed be more successful in handling situations that are extremely challenging to you. So, okay, now I had a situation at work where this manager was years ago. He was really calling me. Well, he was calling me into the office and speaking to me in a certain tone, and he carried on. Now, it was extremely challenging for me because it was getting frustrating. Every 5 minutes I get pulled into the office. You know what? I thought to myself, I can't take any more of this. So I sat there. Now, the choices were I either walk out and leave that position. Chances are I speak out and lose it and become aggressive. And choice number 3 was I'll sit there and I'll take it all. Well, they weren't really the only choices. However, I was sitting there while he was talking, and he carried on and on. And it got to a stage that I was really frustrated with the manager's behaviour. It got to a stage where I looked at him, and it's almost as if it was a magical moment because I closed my ears. Number 1, I put a clown's nose on his nose. And, well, when I say that, it was all in my head. And every time he talked, I played some circus music behind it. And I said to myself, as I was looking at him, as he carried on talking, I said, Joker, Joker, and Joker. And you know what? I started laughing on the inside. And I'm not saying the situation got totally resolved. It did for the moment there for me, because the other choices weren't so good. So, for me, that was a learning that helped me to take on board and handle and reinterpret and problem solve that particular situation, because it could have got a lot worse. However, I laughed it off, and what did I learn? For me, if anybody ever irritates you and it gets to you so much, what do? Just put a clown's nose on them, play some silly music that is absolutely ridiculous, and just smile on the inside and say, you are a joker, and leave it at that, because there's no use getting so frustrated with someone that you lose yourself to frustration, because frustration will only lead to something else. Frustration will lead to anger. Frustration can lead to aggression. Frustration can lead to violence. Frustration can lead to the cycle of violence. And for you to break it, it's using a strategy. The problem-solving internal voice strategy. Vikas Chopra, thank you very much for listening. Start looking at things in a balanced way. Then, when you reach the point of full boiling frustration and you're going to boil over, what do? Use the problem-solving voice. And don't think there are only 3 options. Learn to think out the box and problem solve. We need the problem-solving internal interpretation and learning skill to make the positive and fully meaningful contribution. Vikas Chopra over and out.